Please welcome Ms. Angela Hines and Mr. Alex Yablonowski, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Alex. Good evening, everyone. I would like to begin by congratulating Mr. and Mrs. McKinney on their own son's promotion from 8th grade, which is, unfortunately, why he sends his regrets that he is not able to attend this evening's ceremony. So welcome to you all, members of the Board of Education, special guests, parents, teachers, and friends. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Rocco DeTizio.
Welcome, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Geiger, Mrs. Acosta, faculty, family, and friends. Thank you all for joining us tonight to celebrate this very special occasion. While our middle school journey is coming to an end, I could speak for all my fellow 8th graders and say that we are all excited for a new beginning up at GO. I remember being told that middle school would go by so fast and not being able to believe it. How could 3 years possibly go by that fast? Well, guess what? They did. And here we are now, graduating from Columbia Middle School. Although the years have flown by, they have left many memories behind that will be with us for a very long time. In 6th grade, all the 7th and 8th graders towered over me, and I could not wait to be at the top of the school. Now, I'm graduating and being ready to be towered over again at the high school. Besides getting lost in the halls and having a hard time opening my locker, 6th grade was fun. We went to medieval times and got to watch people joust while eating a ton of good food. What could possibly be better than that? I reunited with all my friends that went to different elementary schools, and at the end of the year, Mr. Carl stuck a magnet to his head, which was pretty cool. That was definitely a fun memory from 6th grade. The year was over so quickly, and I could barely keep up with it. 7th grade was just more halls to learn, but it was a lot easier because I felt much more comfortable in the school. 7th grade had gone by in the blink of an eye. During the year, we saw the Romeo and Juliet plays and then went to the mall and ate amazing Cinnabons. We did the same thing later in the year, but saw Edgar Allan Poe. We were introduced to advisory that year, and those groups would turn into our field day teams, which we finally got to have again. Even though my group did not win, it was still very fun, and the memories I made with my friends on the team are something that I will remember for a long time. And before I knew it, 7th grade was over, and I was starting 8th grade, the final year before high school. Even though 8th grade ended before I knew it, there were great memories made during the year. Every year, the 8th grade would have a volleyball game, and all throughout middle school, I'd be watching it and could not wait to be playing it. We got to play against our fellow 8th graders, which made it so much more fun and memorable. The first game was not my team's best game, or in particular, not my best game. It included me catching the volleyball, which was not my proudest moment. But then we picked it up and won the last 2 games. Later in the year, we went on an Italian trip to Ellis Island. I got to see the names of my ancestors and got super close to the Statue of Liberty. That is something that will stick with me all throughout my life. The last day we did in 8th grade, and one of the most fun, was the trip to the Poconos. I made many memories with my friends that will be with me, and we will be able to laugh and joke about all throughout the next 4 years of high school. Before I knew it, I'd finished finals, and the year was over. Orrin Hatch once said There's a good reason they call these ceremonies commencement exercises. Graduation is not the end, it's the beginning. People see graduation as an end, but if you think about it, it's only the beginning of something bigger and better. Whether you're graduating elementary school, middle school, high school, or even college, it is only the beginning of a new chapter in your life that will bring you new memories. I would like to thank all the wonderful teachers that I've had and everyone that has helped me along the way through the past 3 years. A big congrats and thank you to Mrs. Yu, Mr. Festante, Mrs. Dolan, and Mrs. Berkey for all your great years of teaching, and good luck in the future. Congratulations to the class of 2019. Thank you.
Nicely done, Rocco. Thank you. It is my honor this year to bring to the stage Mr. Doug Reinstein, the President of the Board of Education. Mr. Reinstein, the students before you have completed the requirements of the Berkeley Heights School District, and therefore, on behalf of Mr. McKinney, it is my honor to recommend that they be certified by you to be awarded their middle school diplomas.
Thanks, Frank. Congratulations to the class of 2019. Having attended your award ceremony last week and talking with some of our staff, I have an appreciation of how distinguished this class truly is in the classroom, in the arts, and on the ball field. Let today's middle school graduation be just one small step on your educational journey, as Rocco has just said. Let your high school experience be one to take you on a path of your own choosing, whichever path that might be. Doc Rivers, a former NBA basketball coach, once said, "Average players want to be left alone, good players want to be coached, but great players want to be told the truth." Be the learner who seeks out mentors who tell you the truth. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we wish you the best of luck, whatever you set your sights on, and our suggestion is to aim high and learn from as many people along the way. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. Awarding of diplomas this evening will be assisted by Lauren McMahon and Ryan Tarabokia. This is for you, sir.
Kavya Kasula. Jason Bach. Julia Baglioni. Jonathan Tarandash. Colin Kim. Alina Murad. Kathleen Grinelli. Helena Canizaro. Sarah Bolden. Waverly Lorne. Tara Higgins. Luke Castellana. Julia Bavasso. Sasha Robb. Aiden Lindy. Catherine Brokes. Patrick Nohilly. Spencer Giacovini. Michael Penna. Simmer Mummick. Riley Leddington. Max Hernandez. Elise Faxon. Matthew Costa Rodriguez. Emily Casasito. Maxime Arcasetta. Malia Scatino. Stephen Manfreda. Ava Rocco. Matthew Wallen. Jessica Ryan. Shane Morrison. Rodrigo Rodriguez. Sarah Teitelbaum. Brielle Klink. Grace Hugh. Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. Mr. Casano, would you join us, please?
Thank you, Mr. Reinstein.
Riley Buckholtz. Colin DeCroy. Marcus Wathen. Allison Hahn.
Good job, Allie.
Kimberly Rinaldi. Andrew Cottom. Alyssa Zakiki. Jillian Shacatano. William Rodriguez. Brianna Monaco. Austin Liu. Lily Kaltner. Benjamin Cordo. Isabella Anders. Emma Ritchell. Michael Hicks. Catherine Smith. Sneha Seshadri. Colin Ryan. Rihanna Ferdke. Anthony Nieves. Sophia Ma. Savannah Levine. Gabriel Gerardo. Liam Quigley. Alexander Mika. Tyler Gadetti. Basil Castrovinci. Jaden Titus. Aiden Spadafino. Christopher Ronga. Charles Newman. Maximo Marchitelli. James Jakolski. Shreyas Agnihotri. Brian Kramer. Thank you, Mr. Casano. Dr. Christonino, would you join us, please?
Thank you.
Serena Yee. Angelo Sirotino. Audrey Rosenberger. Ava Reinl. Ryan Kim. Natalie Hagan. Alexander Yablonowski. Angela Heinz. Daniel Coronado. Ryan Murray. Christopher Ivanov. Ethan Wong. Kobe Caterino. Tyler Johnson. Luke Dooley. Ryan Wetterer. Matthew Pua. Neil Chowdhury. Gabriel Amato.
Good job, Gabe.
Sydney Chan. Pavni Bardwaj. Isabella Graziano. Luciana Vicendes. Tiffany Repetto. Mia O'Halloran. Brianna Harris. Sean Gleason.
Good job, Sean.
Alex Bruning. Hayden Osborne. Erica Labella. Kate Curran. Teresa Carbine. Ella Vandeventer. Emma San Antonio. Eleni Mandarakis. Grace Charbonneau. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Christonino. Miss Riley, would you join us, please? Edward Sun. Hannah Scoglamiglio. Eliza Crawford.
Good job.
Rocco DiTizio. Harrison Lloyd. Jake Krug. Christopher Kim. Nicole He. Joseph Frank. Caitlin DeBello. Sasha Chawla. Jack Bernard. Sophia Antonelli. Ella Salmon. Landry Lorne. Liana Sanchez. Lauren O'Rourke. Nathan Mursky. Madeline McGowan. Caitlin Knorr. Ryan Carrick. Jack Hogan. Anna Dinda. Christian Cottom. Kieran Feely. John Benza.
Good job, John.
Delaney Gilsonen. Cadence Crystal. Aaron Blake. Natalie Alleluia. David Andrews. Madeline Teska. Theodore Scalora. Anna Popola. Thank you, Miss Riley. Mr. Smalley, would you join us, please? Christopher Mikowitz. Griffin Lorne. Brianna Doucette. Kyle Bade. Corey Zhao. Jared Lee. Melina Shrestha. Reva Sate. Sophia Rodriguez. Timothy Pappas. John Carlos Navarro. Wonky Che. Lauren Matfus. John Murphy. William Macheski. Elizabeth Connolly. Vincent Lepore. Owen Tan. Nishant Satuvolu. Ryan Richardson.
Good job, Ryan.
Ilya Manayan. Charles Gilpin. Giovanna Ciolino. Amelia Leahy. Benjamin Young. James Rubino. Daniel Long. Claire Kim. Enzo Caparozzo. Patrick Sheehan. Gregory Lugo. Quinn Dooley. Colin Tripp. Jonathan Schmidt. Daniel Casper. Quentin Gallagher. Catherine Zhao. Juliana Schickel. Sophia Judica. Gerald DePasquale. Lauren McMahon.
Ryan Tarabokia.
Very nicely done. Students, please stand and be recognized once more. Please welcome Mr. Robert Nixon, principal of the Governor Livingston High School. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. As the principal of Governor Livingston High School, I'd first like to congratulate the 8th grade students of Berkeley Heights on all that you've accomplished. You've made your parents and your teachers very proud. I would also like to welcome the class of 2023 to Highlander Country. We are extremely proud of our program at Governor Livingston High School, and we sincerely hope it will inspire you and help you be the best you can be. With that in mind, we look forward to seeing you up on the Hill in September. Have a safe and enjoyable summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would give the students a moment while we present the Columbia Middle School Commencement Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, you can prepare. Go ahead. Yep. Are you in chorus or orchestra? Awesome job, guys. Thank you all, and thanks to Mrs. Konigsberg and Mr. Ellis for directing this evening's music. How about one more round for them, please? It gives me great pleasure to introduce Miss Catherine Brokes.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Geiger, Ms. Acosta, faculty, family, and friends. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful summer evening as we celebrate a momentous occasion. This graduation ceremony is a celebration of our hard work over the past 3 years. It's a chance to celebrate how we've overcome obstacles, allowing us to figure out who we are and where we might want to go in life. I would like to start by asking my fellow graduates to take a look around them. Please take a minute to realize that this is the last time that we will all be together, exactly like this. Some of us are moving or will be going to different high schools. Our friendships may only last so long, but the memories we made will last forever. So please take a moment today to thank each other and tell your friends how appreciative you are of them. I congratulate each and every one of you for overcoming your own kind of middle school troubles. I thank you as well, because without each and every one of you, the Columbia Middle School class of 2019 wouldn't be the beautiful yet crazy bunch that we are. I cannot wait to look back in my yearbook and think of how these years have shaped me. Every journey begins with a single step, and for me, that included a lovely warm welcome from people that I barely knew. I remember my very first middle school presentation was Miss Bokoch's current events. I was so scared, yet I decided to go first because I was that insane. Miss Bokoch described my speech as a great way to start off the day, and that meant so much to me. I will also never forget my absolute favorite class, Mr. Culinari's general music class, where we learned the evolution of music from the twist to voguing to the whip. 7th grade was fabulous. We all enjoyed some Edgar Allan Poe stories on stage. In 7th grade, I also had the privilege of being selected to go to Teen Arts 2018. I spent the whole day taking genuine pride in my work. I met fellow writers just like me, and it was really sweet because I felt that I could be myself and still be respected. At last, we've arrived. We get to walk a little taller around these hallways solely because we've been here the longest. 8th grade was packed with pressure, such as standing on a soapbox to plead your case as a patriot or a loyalist. It was also full of rewards, such as cookies from Frederick Douglass, being able to enter the building first, and topped off with a trip to the Poconos. Thanks to 8th grade, I can proudly say that I've surrounded myself with the right people. Friends that make me smile and who love me for who I am. My friends taught me how to let go of negative comments, and that life is too short to be bogged down by the small details. So 8th graders, we've done it. We have completed middle school, made everlasting memories, found our interests, and new friends. We learned how to cope with other people, and most importantly, we are farther along the path to finding out who we truly are, thanks to our past 3 years here at Columbia. I would not have been able to do it without my family, for teaching me to be the most lovable version of myself that there is. I would also like to thank the custodial staff for helping me find my $500 retainer, as well as always making me smile. And most importantly, thank you to my peers for being the reason I get out of bed in the morning, for bestowing both joys and woes on me that have only made me stronger. Congratulations, graduates. May these next years take you in life where you will be happiest. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Very well done. Very well done to all of you. Folks, didn't you do a great job? I'd like to begin tonight by thanking the PTO for providing refreshments today and welcome you all to our 8th grade promotion. Students, can we ask our staff and teachers to stand and be recognized? Thank you all. I'm so pleased to work with such a talented and dedicated team. Mrs. Acosta, would you please stand? Thank you for another great year. How is it possible that the year has gone by so quickly? Seems like just yesterday when we found the 4th letter that was missing from the stripes display in the upper corridor. We were so happy to get our integrity back. Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you have enjoyed our time together tonight, but before you go, I'd like to share some thoughts about a moment in time. A moment in time that we have all experienced, and through that experience, the moment of time has defined each of us. That moment is not a common topic of discussion much anymore. But if you would indulge me, I'd like to make it my last 8th grade chat with my friends this evening. So students, I would appreciate your attention. This time that I'm speaking of is not defined by action, and in fact, it's a time of no action. But it is the difference between success and failure. The difference between creating relationships and losing friends. It's from where comes the greatest art, the most wonderful poetry, and incredible athletic moments. It impacts your academic standing, college acceptance, and the songs that you listen to as you walk down the hallway. All of these things come down to one thing, and that is what occurs between here and here. Those moments of silence between action and reaction are the most important moments of your life. And in your world, even more critical, because more often than not, your reaction will be on video for all to see. Picture the batter at the plate after the pitch is thrown. Notice a moment of tension. The foot goes forward, and then a pause before swinging away. Watch someone at a foul line dribble a ball once, twice, maybe 5 times before taking the ball in their hands. And then if you watch closely, that subtle pause before release. It isn't the swing of the bat that determines a home run or if it would be struck, and it isn't the arc of the ball that determines a basket. It's already too late. What went on in the player's head prior to the action is what turned that strike into a home run, the air ball into a swish, or the kick wide into a goal. Let's change the playing field for a moment and think about how these moments can have more lasting impact. Now you're walking down the hall or down the street, and you see someone different than you. You turn your head, and there's a brief moment when you decide what comes next. What will be your next step? To laugh at that person? To photograph that person? Harass them? Assist them? Or simply walk on by? Whatever action you take, you've moved past the possibility of changing that scene. You've already hit play, and the pause button is no longer available. You have moved past the pause. And for better or worse, in the TikTok days of Discord, YouTube, and Finstagram, apologies will go a long way to making things a bit better, but the video that may have caught you doing something regretful will linger much longer. And we are learning in the news just this week how those images can impact your later years. You will recall the inmates that visited us and spoke to us in the cafeteria. Each of them told a story, and each of them actually admitted that if they had a second chance to rewind, things would be different. Sad, but it's too late. After that meeting, you might remember I would someday tell you about a moment when things could have gone bad for Mr. Geiger as well. I don't think I ever told you that when I was your age, I drove on Route 78 by myself all the time. Back then, when I was your age, Route 78 was under construction and made out of sand and dirt, and my friends and I would drive up and down on our dirt bikes all day long. We had a blast, and the police chased us a lot. A friend's father thought it would be a good idea to form a club so that we could ride our bikes in a safer place, and we had meetings at a church in Springfield where I grew up. One night, as an 8th grader, I walked to the meeting, and I was standing outside with my friend Joe, waiting for the leader, when the leader drove up and told us that the meeting was canceled. After he drove away, I started walking away to go home when Joe picked up a rock and threw it through the door window. He yelled at me and said, "Hey, let's go inside." I turned and looked at my friend Joe. While I stood there and thought about what to do, I graduated high school, went on to college, met my wife, had a family, ran a business, went back to school, became a teacher, and then became your principal. Of course, none of that happened while I stood there, but all of it happened because of what came next. I walked away and went home. I never did tell my parents about that moment of time, but everything that came after came from that pause during which I decided to keep on walking. Everything that happened to Joe came from that moment as well, and he was not in attendance on the day that I graduated high school. John Wooden said, "If you don't have time to do it right, when will you have the time to do it over?" Let's think for a moment about where we are today, literally. Moments ago, you walked up on the stage to receive your diploma. The same will happen again in 4 years. For your parents, it will be as if you entered today at 14, and just like that, you'll walk out ready for college. The time between those two events will seem like seconds. For many of you as well, those 2,100 days won't be much more than a pause in time. But students, what did we learn today about those moments? What do you do between entering this room in 2019 and exiting it in 2023 will absolutely define you depending on those actions. Thankfully, this pause will be long enough for you to make mistakes, learn new things, take on challenges, make new friends, become leaders, and yes, continue to grow as you have as the wonderful young people with a great head start and an awesome future ahead of you. That time between now and then won't occur between two breaths, but it might feel like that if you don't take advantage of everything waiting for you at Governor Livingston. So I'm here tonight, if you will, to give you pause. I'm giving you permission to take a breath and consider what will you do between now and then. I know you well, and you are up to the task. Folks, each year when I speak to the class, I like to present a student or two who I've had some time with that have impressed me. So let me pause for a moment and introduce a friend of mine, if you don't mind. I'd like to ask Spencer Giacovini to just wave to the crowd. Spencer, would you do that for me? You know, from time to time, Spencer would email me and ask me to meet. I would send him an email back, and he would use that email to cut class. We always had a good time talking, and if I could make him laugh while he was there, well, he has an awesome laugh. Mr. Nixon, Spencer is a very honest young man, and he told me he's worried about what high school will be. I told him I hoped it would be what he wanted it to be, and so I asked him, what exactly did he hope to find at GL? He paused a moment and simply said he hoped it would be nice. Spencer, the reason I bring that up this evening is to point out that you are no different than every single person on this stage, wondering what is to come and hoping for the best. Students, none of us can see the future, but by working together, you can make it what you want it to be. And I hope when you do, you reach farther than just your circle of friends and include everyone in your plans. And Spencer, I will see you next year, and you can tell me how it's going. And to all my friends seated here tonight, let me share my best wishes for all the good things the world has to offer. And when we meet again in the future and I ask you, how is life? You respond by saying, Mr. Geiger, I've learned to pause, and life is good. Thank you all. Guys, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Columbia Middle School's graduating class of 2019.